Good morning, dear parents of Arun Nursery and the Future Foundation School. Good morning. Can I hear some good mornings? Okay. Can you all, and of course, dear teachers of both schools, staff members, and of course, our very dear students. Before I start to say anything, can all of you say something together with me? Bonne fête douce-mère. Bonne fête douce-mère. Bonne fête douce-mère. We had a lovely performance, a series of lovely performances from little kids all the way from KG1 up to, class 7 of the Future Foundation School. All right, KG1 of Arun Nursery up to class 7 of the Future Foundation School, who prepared a lovely homage. They were not just exhibiting themselves, they were paying homage to the mother. I want to start by saying something which I think is very important on this occasion, which struck me when the little kids of Arun Nursery were performing. Across the world, the structure is such, particularly in India, but elsewhere it's a little different. The pride of place belongs to the senior-most people. People in their 80s, 90s, 70s, then come the people. So it's hierarchically. And the little kids get some importance, but not always much. In the Pondicherry of the mother that I visited way back when I was a kid, what I found was it was the inverse, which meant that the most important people in that place were the kids. As you grow older, chronologically, the importance reduces. So this is something I need to tell you, that you are in an institution which mother created primarily for kids. And why is that? Because Sri Aurobindo doesn't belong to the past dawns, but to the noons of the future. That is the reason. It's not just a statement. It's something much more than that. Okay. So it was a lovely, lovely performance put up by Arun Nursery School. I'd like to say something more on one element. First of all, the performances were superb. But if some of you noticed, the little children actually talked about the mother's childhood and began by saying that formal education of the mother started much later than it has for these kids. Yet, by her early teens, she was so erudite, so educated, in the sense that we understand, in a very, very short period of time. When we talk of study pressure, there's too much pressure and it takes year on year on year of studies. 12 in our school, we have Arun Nursery, toddler, nursery, KG1, KG2, 12 years of Future Foundation, 16 years. Yet the mother achieved all that she achieved in her life outwardly at a very early age after having started very late. How? The children gave you the clue, dear parents, in case you heard attentively. The answer is just developing one single faculty called concentration. If you refer to Swami Vivekananda, you will have heard that Swami Vivekananda could read a very fat book in a few minutes. How does that happen? Why am I telling you all this? You are neither the mother nor Swami Vivekananda. You are who you are. But you have infinite potential. It is because of that infinite potential that the mother created a community where the children were the most important. In you lies the hope for the future. But if you want to be realize your potential, what your life is holding for you, you need to be able to concentrate. The whole world moves today in the reverse direction, which is distraction. And the whole of life is marketing of distractions. The whole thing is to pull you away from who you are into an outward phenomenon, which by the time you realize it is a mirage, life is almost over. My dear friends, I would counsel you one thing. One basic thing that you need to learn as a kid: the faculty of concentration. It can be learned by music, it can be learned by painting, but the application has to be everywhere. When a tennis player plays, when Ivan Lendl plays, when Rafael Nadal plays, what is the main thing? It is concentration. You just see that ball. In the Mahabharata, Arjuna was counseled, don't just see the bird, see the eye, not even the eye, the iris of the eye of the bird. That is your approach. To start with that, dear parents, since you are all here, some of you are here, reduce distractions for kids. Engage kids, whatever, this is a day school. When they go back home, engage them in constructive pastimes. Going back to the mother, very accomplished musician, very accomplished painter, extremely studious person, conducted many study circles on advanced philosophy. So what does it tell you? Engage them in broadening their horizons to know the world. And more importantly, I want to tell you, dear friends, when you wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror. Imagine for one moment where you are at the end of the night before, and set out an agenda, what you want to achieve during the day. End of the day, map it and see how far you have come. It's not automatic. All of us have taken time, a lot of time to achieve it, and yet we are very far from where we would like to be. This is one part of what I wanted to tell you. Second part of what I want to tell you is the little play that the French play that the Future Foundation School put up, and the dance. The dance was wonderful, everything else. The singing of Arun Nursery was wonderful. But the play was titled The Ascent to Truth. I'm sure many of you didn't understand what it's all about. But before I get to that, I want to tell you something. Last night, somebody from the management of Auroville contacted me for a very different reason, last evening. I told her very proudly about our school, which is what? I said that our kids can read Sri Aurobindo and the Mother in their original. You don't need any intermediary to lecture you on what Sri Aurobindo and the Mother told you, right? This play, for instance, you have directly read from the Mother. You might ask, what is there, why is it important to read in the original? Most people, your parents will tell you, many of them are here, many might have tried to read up Sri Aurobindo. And many, not just them, many find that Sri Aurobindo is difficult to understand. When the Mother was posed this question, and about his magnum opus, Sri Aurobindo's magnum opus Savitri, the Mother said, just read. Just read. Doesn't matter if you understand or you don't, because Savitri is a mantra. When you read that mantra, if you don't read it from here, you need to read Mother and Sri Aurobindo from here. When you are articulating what the Mother said, when you articulate what Sri Aurobindo says, you are articulating a mantra. Unknown to yourself, that mantra is going deep within, touching the very core of your heart and the outermost cells of your body. Because you're articulating, your tongue is moving. That is an articulation. That articulation, unknown to you, is sending signals all over to your brain and heart to respond to what? The divine grace. I'll come back to that. Now, ascend to truth. Today, as you walk into the Samadhi, if you do, Sri Aurobindo's relics, we call it Samadhi, you will find a message written on a white board in Bengali. I'll just tell you the translation in English, all right? Because English would be something that everybody will understand. What are we talking about? The ascent to truth. What did we understand, even those who didn't understand French? That truth, getting to truth, is very, very difficult. That is what these kids were trying to say. Truth is a strenuous and difficult conquest. One must be a real warrior to make this conquest. One who fears nothing, neither enemies nor death. For with or against everybody, with or without a body, the struggle continues and will end with victory. Quote unquote from the mother. In a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, dear parents, I told you what these kids were doing when they enacted that extract from the Ascent to Truth. But what they said there, what did it say? The mother says here, it was summarized, it is only the divine grace that can make the ascent to truth possible. And the grace can work miracles. Where are we right now? We are in the mother's home of grace. She said so. It will be the home of grace. You walk in, you will get everything you want. Believe you me, anything I have asked in my life, I have got. The first thing is, choose carefully what you want. Anything you ask from Sri Aurobindo and the mother, you will get. The mother has 3 states of being. The one I knew, the one we worship here, is the mother as an individual, as these kids narrated to us, born in Paris on 21st February 1878. But the mother, as Sri Aurobindo says, is also universal. Present in each one of us, in every seed of dust, in every leaf of every tree, in every drop of water, in every particle of air. That is the universal mother. And there is a third aspect of the mother, the transcendental, which oversees the individual and the universal and is transcendental. What Sri Aurobindo said was, what stands between the aspiration of man and the divine's, blessings and consent is the grace of the Divine Mother. That grace is available to us exactly how the sun sheds its rays without asking us every day. We don't pay for it. As you walk into this campus, you access nothing less than the Mother's grace. And the Mother's grace can turn difficulties into opportunities, failure into success, and weakness into indomitable strength. Dear friends, if you open a little bit to the Mother, you will get what you want. If you open yourself more to the Mother, you will know why you are here on this earth. If you open yourself even more to the Mother, she will guide you herself, holding you by the hand to where you ought to be. And believe you me, this whole journey, in the Mother's words, is la voie ensoleillée, the sunlit path. Walk on the Mother's sunlit path. When you come to my age and go even beyond, and you turn your head back onto the life you have seen and been and passed, you will say with uttermost conviction that every moment has been worth it. Every step of the journey has been worth it, and you have done what you came to do. Why? Not because of yourself. As you yourself said, because the grace was with you every step of the way. Victoire à la douce mère. I will just read a little passage from Savitri, and because of the short time available, I'll only read it in English. I'll skip the mother's translation in French and Nalini Kantagupta's translation into Bengali. When darkness deepens, strangling the earth's breast, and man's corporeal mind is the only lamp, as a thief's in the night shall be the covered tread of one who steps unseen into his house. A voice ill-heard shall speak, the soul obey. A power into mind's inner chamber steal. A charm and sweetness open life's closed doors, and beauty conquer the resisting world. The truth light capture nature by surprise. A stealth of God compel the heart to bliss, and earth grow unexpectedly divine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your heartwarming words. With this, we come to the end of our celebration. Thank you all for being a part of it. Please have a look at the charts so painstakingly prepared by the students. Also, do receive the blessings card and partake of the prasad on your way out. I hand over the mic to Satya sir for dispersal.
Good morning, parents. If any Arun Nursery parents is over here, so you have to move towards the ashram gate to collect your award.